After 50 Cent dropped that shady picture of T.I.'s wife on Instagram, King Harris snapped back in the wildest way ever. He went too far, posting a photo of 50's mom's grave and saying, "Go dig her up."
So tell your dead mama dig her ass up and post a picture that look better than my mama. What's wrong with you?
That move had everyone's jaws on the floor. What's wrong with him? Everyone knows 50 Cent never lets disrespect slide. Now the beef's heating up fast. 50's coming for King Harris over that grave post, and things are getting messy real quick. Let's break it all down. It started on February 22nd, 2026, when 50 Cent jumped on Instagram and posted a photo of Tiny Harris performing on stage. But the picture, man, it was rough. The lighting was bad, the angle was off, and it made her look completely different from how she usually looks. And come on, knowing 50, he picked that shot on purpose.
Bonded by disrespecting T.I.'s family, more specifically T.I.'s wife, Tiny.
He didn't just throw it on his story where it disappears in 24 hours. No, he posted it right on his main feed, solid and permanent for millions to see, comment, and laugh at any time they wanted. The caption, simple but sharp. It read, "I keep saying keep my name out your mouth." No tags, no emojis, no long rant, just pure shade. Everybody knew exactly who he was talking about. T.I. without a doubt. Here's the wild part. Tiny didn't even do anything to 50 Cent. She wasn't on a podcast name-dropping him, she wasn't sneak dissing him in comments, and she wasn't even mixed up in the drama between him and T.I.
He posts a picture of Tiny, and he says, "I keep saying keep my name out your mouth," and puts up like a shrug emoji and says, "Okay."
This was straight up 50 using her as a pawn just to take another shot at her husband, all because T.I. kept bringing up the Verzuz battle. Now let's set the record straight. Tiny Harris isn't just T.I.'s wife. Nah, she's a legend in her own right. She's one of the founding members of Escalate, the R&B group that ran the 90s with hits like Just Kicking It and Who Can I Run To. She's been grinding in the music game for over 3 decades. She's got her own money, her own legacy, and even her own reality shows. But 50, he tried to throw all that away with one embarrassing picture just to be petty. And that shrug emoji he dropped at the end, that was pure disrespect. Like he really hit post and tossed that emoji in there saying, no big deal, as if clowning another man's wife in front of 30 million followers was just part of his morning routine. That's cold. But 50 didn't realize that one little post was about to light a fuse.
I want to say something about my mama. Your mama dead as Your mama dead as
Within hours, T.I.'s oldest son, King Harris, caught wind of it, and he wasn't laughing. At only 21, King didn't try to be slick with a meme or hide behind subliminal captions. Nope, he went straight for the throat. He dropped a comment under 50's post, short, bold, and deadly serious. King Harris dropped his first comment under 50's post, and it was cold. "Where your mama?" with the eyes emoji. And if you know anything about 50 Cent's past, you know that line cut deep. 50's mom passed away when he was just 8 years old.
dig her up. Go dig her up. Post a picture of your mama because she dead. Pay respect.
And her death has always been a sensitive part of his story. So when King threw that out in public, the whole comment section froze. Everybody knew that hit way below the belt. But King didn't stop there. He took it to another level. He went on his own Instagram and actually posted a photo of Sabrina Jackson's headstone, 50's real mom's grave. Her name was right there, carved in stone, with the dates 1958 to 1983. King tagged 50 directly and wrote, "Yo, dig up your mama." In another version, he doubled down saying, "This where your mama at." That was way too far, and people online instantly started calling it out.
Post my mama like your mama ain't dead as Go put some flowers on that grave.
Then King hopped in his car, hit record, and went off in a series of Instagram stories. No filter, no chill, just raw emotion spilling out nonstop. He was clearly furious, ranting, shouting, and firing off post after post. And he didn't let up. He even circled back to that grave image again, reposting it with another caption saying, 50 Cent, this where your mama at. By that point, the line had been drawn. 50 had posted Tiny, and now King had fired back in the harshest way possible, and the internet was losing its mind.
And posting my mama, legend, your mama, Jay.
Who loses their mama at 8 years old and jokes, "Go dig her up out the ground"? Man, that hit raw and fast. In one night, this whole thing jumped from petty internet trolling to straight up disgusting below-the-belt disrespect that hip-hop hasn't seen in a minute. The wildest part, it all traces back to a Verzuz idea that was supposed to be about celebrating music, nothing more, nothing less. The Verzuz that never happened is the root of this mess. The whole beef sits on a convo that allegedly went down in Los Angeles between T.I. and 50 Cent while they were both out there grinding on TV and film deals and running in the same circles. That's where the seed got planted and it blew up later. So when somebody brought up the idea of a Verzuz, T.I says they chopped it up face to face and agreed on how it would play out. But then T.I claims 50 Cent ghosted him like the conversation never even happened. And that sting was aired loud on T.Y.'s $1 Million Game podcast with Jilly and the crew. I walked through the timeline step by step and laid out how it all went down. The original vision, T.I says, was clean. Two veterans from the South stepping up to celebrate each other's catalogs. No drama, no shade, just straight bars, hit records, and respect for the craft. I even broke down how things went when they were kicking it in LA, pitching shows, and moving into professional space.
Me and them talk back there, bro. We were moving around in LA, man, selling some TV shows while we were around each other, man, you know what I mean? I said, what you think about that? Like,
and now that plan is wrapped up in all this mess. At first, 50 Cent was with it. He and T.I actually mapped out a whole game plan together. The move was simple. T.I would be the first to go public and call 50 out for the Verzuz battle, and then 50 would co-sign it in public to set the stage. A smooth setup, clean execution, at least that was the plan, so T.I played his part. He went out and did exactly what they talked about. He slid through Shannon Sharpe's Nightcap podcast and brought 50's name up in the Verzuz conversation, out loud, on air, for the world to hear. He wasn't hiding his confidence either. T.I made it crystal clear that he wanted to smoke with 50 in a Verzuz showdown, and he hinted that 50 might be ducking the challenge.
okay, so first, like, you know, it was really about celebrating each other's catalog.
But when T.I jumped out there like they'd agreed, 50 suddenly went ghost. He acted like that whole conversation never even happened. He played it cool in public, pretending like T.I was just another rapper trying to get clout off his name. That move left T.I hanging and heated. That's when T.I.'s frustration switched gears. It wasn't just about the Verzuz battle anymore, it became personal.
And I told him, I said, well, I'm gonna jump out there first, and then you just gonna jump out there and we'll line it up.
He started questioning 50 Cent's character as a man, because to T.I, loyalty and realness matter, and 50 breaking that private agreement felt like straight up betrayal. From that point on, everything changed for T.I. The whole vibe shifted. It wasn't about the Verzuz anymore, it was about integrity. T.I felt like if 50 didn't want to do the battle, that was fine. Just keep it real and say that. But don't sit down, agree behind closed doors, and then switch up the moment the cameras start rolling. That's fake energy, and T.I wasn't having it. You could tell the situation hit T.I deep.
I was supposed to go, and then goddamn, when I was talking to Swiss, you know, I was like, man.
He went from wanting to share a legendary stage with 50 Cent to not wanting anything to do with him. No collabs, no cool greetings, not even standing in the same room together. That bond, whatever was there, was done. And then T.I dropped that one bar, the line that echoed across every blog, every comment section, and every gossip page for weeks. It was sharp, personal, and straight from the gut, and it made fans pick sides instantly. But from 50's side, the picture looked totally different. He had been brushing off the whole Verzuz idea for years. 50 didn't see it as a big deal anymore.
I wanted 50, that's what I said. He don't want no smoke though.
He even said the Verzuz format only mattered during the pandemic. He made it clear that he'd moved past rap battles and was locked into bigger business, TV shows, film projects, and brand deals. He hadn't dropped an album since 2014, and he wasn't sweating the charts. Music wasn't his main hustle anymore. It was a chapter he had already closed.
I jump out there and act like he ain't know what's going on.
50 Cent's replies to T.I.'s call-outs were classic 50, short, cold, and dripping with that trademark troll energy. He kept spamming Instagram with that same line, "Keep my name out your mouth," throwing in the shrug emoji like it was nothing. He doubled down with memes and slick captions meant to make T.I look desperate, like he was chasing attention from someone who couldn't care less. But then things took a nasty turn when 50 started tagging T.I as King Rat in comments, a label that hits heavy in street culture. That's one of the worst names you can throw at somebody in the hip-hop world. It basically accuses them of cooperating with the law, and T.I, he wasn't letting that slide. He clapped back fast, firing off, "You playing on my name when only one of us a rat in real life. You know I got your paperwork, right?" He told 50 to either step in the Verzuz ring or pipe down straight up. By the time February 22nd hit, this feud had been simmering for weeks. Podcast appearances, comment section wars, and non-stop subliminals flying across social media.
I have no interest in standing on stage with that. I don't respect.
What started as a fun music celebration idea had turned into a full-blown feud that got way too personal. It even pulled in family members who had nothing to do with any of it. And that's when things really crossed the line. Because to understand why King Harris's reaction shocked everybody in hip-hop, you gotta know who Sabrina Jackson was and what really happened happened to her. This wasn't just some story about a celebrity's mom passing peacefully. Her life and what happened to her shaped everything about who 50 Cent became, which made King's move hit even harder.
I be trying to let my son get his, build his, like, him able to keep his own attention span.
This isn't just some sad family story. This is about a woman who was murdered and her killer was never found. Sabrina Jackson, born around 1958 in South Jamaica, Queens, New York, brought Curtis Jackson into the world. The man we all know today is 50 Cent. But here's the thing, she had him when she was only 15 years old. From day one, she was doing it on her own.
So I think that, that is more of a way for them to check him on the space of like how you carry yourself versus how this carries himself. Now, we all could agree, let's keep it 1,000. That shit 50 did was whack.
No partner, no co-parent, just a teenage girl in one of the toughest parts of the city trying to raise her baby and survive. To keep food on the table and a roof over their heads, Sabrina jumped into the hustle. South Jamaica back then was deep in the early crack wave of the late 70s and early 80s, a brutal time where the streets ruled everything. For a young single mom with no real opportunities, the game was one of the only ways to make ends meet, and Sabrina played it strong. Throughout 50 Cent's career, he's spoken about his mom many times, and every story paints the same image. She was tough as steel, no soft love, no coddling. She ran her home the same way she ran her block, with authority and zero tolerance for weakness. In his own words, she was both his mother and his father.
You know what I'm saying? I don't fold under pressure, I apply under pressure.
50 even told stories about how she prepared him for the chaos outside. Like how she'd stuff toys inside socks so he could swing them as weapons at school if anyone messed with him. That was her way of teaching him how to stand tall in the streets. And there's another story he shared, one that shows just how raw their bond was. A young Curtis on the floor crying, and Sabrina stepping in, tough as ever, teaching him that in their world, showing strength was survival. When little Curtis broke down crying, Sabrina looked him dead in the eye and told him to get up and stop acting weak. That was her version of tough love. The only way she knew to raise a boy in a world that showed no mercy, that was her love language, survival.
Oh, look, I don't even want, man. Cause now I question your character.
Then came the tragedy that changed everything. In 1983, Sabrina Jackson was killed. She was only about 24 or 25 years old, and Curtis was just 8, a kid who suddenly had to face the world alone. The way she lost her life still haunts people to this day, and the case has stayed cold for over 4 decades. According to 50 Cent's own retellings through countless interviews, Sabrina's death wasn't an accident. Someone had set her up. He said that someone slipped something into her drink inside her apartment, knocking her out cold.
I think, man, that shit ain't gonna happen. That shit ain't gonna happen, man. I don't want to stand on stage with.
Then, whoever did it turned on the gas intentionally. The mix of carbon monoxide and the fire that followed ended her life in a horrifying way. When the police arrived, they instantly suspected foul play. It was too precise, too deliberate. A drugged victim and tampered gas lines made it clear this wasn't random. Yet even with all that, nobody was ever arrested, no charges, no suspects, nothing. Her killer walked free, and 50 Cent's pain from that has never really faded.
My mother passed when I was like 8 years old. I went to live with my grandparents. And she had me when she was 15.
No motive was ever released, and to this day, over 42 years later, the case is still cold. No official police files, no public reports, no coroner's breakdowns, and no follow-up investigations have ever surfaced. Everything we know about what happened to Sabrina Jackson comes straight from 50 Cent's own words, his memories, his pain, and his truth.
She got killed when I was like 8 years old.
So when you say
After Sabrina's death, young Curtis, just 8 years old, was taken in by his grandparents, Bob Jackson, and his grandfather. They raised him in a small home in the same South Jamaica neighborhood where it all began. That house was packed tight with nearly 8 family members under one roof, holding things together the best they could. His biological father had already dipped long before Sabrina passed, so his grandparents were the only real family he had left.
So at that point, she started hustling to be able to provide for me at that point.
50 has opened up in interviews about how losing his mom shaped everything in him. He said that every time life got rough, one thought always came back to him. If my mother was here, it wouldn't be like this. That pain became permanent. He even tattooed her name, Sabrina, on his right forearm with the words Ghetto Angel beside it. A forever reminder of the woman who held him down until the streets took her away.
hustling, she was involved with what she was.
Sabrina Jackson's body rests at Rockville Cemetery in Lynbrook, Nassau County, New York, and that's the very same grave King Harris found, snapped a photo of, and blasted all over Instagram. That's the headstone he posted for millions to see, tagging 50 Cent and telling him to dig her up. The question that stunned everyone after after that moment was simple. Why did King Harris go that far? King Harris is just 21 years old.
Yeah, selling drugs.
Selling drugs.
Yeah.
Full name Clifford King Harris Jr., and he's the eldest biological son of T.I and Tiny Harris. Born August 26, 2004 in Atlanta, Georgia, King has literally grown up in the spotlight. From the moment he was born, the cameras were rolling, and the world already knew his name because of who his parents were and the massive entertainment empire they built together. He never had a normal childhood.
King, let me ask you a question, man. Do you feel any type of pressure?
Not a single day out of the public eye. By the time he was 7, King was already a familiar face thanks to T.I. and Tiny, The Family Hustle, which first aired in 2011. He spent his childhood watching his dad juggle business beefs and public drama, all while staying sharp on camera. He saw his pops catch cases, win deals, and handle every kind of pressure with a spotlight blazing right in his face.
You know, they say pressure make diamond.
At the same time, King saw his mom, Tiny Harris, get her flowers as a founding member of Escape, one of the fiercest R&B girl groups of the 90s. She was out here being celebrated for her music, while also being the backbone holding their whole household together. Now, King's been carving out his own lane in music under the name Kid Cyan, dropping tracks and freestyles that show flashes of the world he came from. That mix of fame, struggle, and ambition. But no matter what he does, the public always tags him as T.I.'s son first. He's spoken up about how heavy that pressure gets. The expectations, the constant comparisons, and the feeling of always being watched under a microscope. Every move he makes gets magnified, and that weight's been building for years.
That boy quick on his feet, ain't he?
T.I has reportedly told King before that he sees himself in his son, especially the version of himself that made the most mistakes. That hit deep because it shows how real their bond is and how much T.I recognizes that same fire, stubbornness, and emotion in King that once lived in him too. But King isn't just somebody's kid anymore, he's a father now. He's got a son of his own, and he's talked publicly about how he wants to raise him with independence, grit, and strength, the same qualities his parents drilled into him growing up in that high-pressure spotlight. He's trying to build his little one up the same way T.I and Tiny built him.
I'm the more, as he was saying, I'm him when he made his most mistake.
So when 50 Cent posted that busted picture of Tiny Harris, King's mom, the woman he's publicly called a legend time and time again, the reaction was instant and emotional. There was no PR filter, no second guessing, no manager whispering in his ear. King didn't pause to think about image or strategy. He didn't weigh how it might look online. He saw a grown man with 30 million followers trying to clown his mother in front of the entire internet.
Playing like that, going like that.
And something inside him just snapped. The issue wasn't that he reacted, because honestly, any son would stand up if someone disrespected their mom like that. The real problem was how he reacted. Instead of keeping it focused on 50's character or roasting him over the failed Verzuz drama, King went straight for the most painful, personal, and sacred spot imaginable. He tracked down 50 Cent's late mother's grave and blasted it online for millions to see. That move crossed every line possible, and that's when the whole situation spiraled into something nobody could defend.
How y'all raised? I'm not raised like that. I don't go. I'm not going about my mom.
King tried to explain himself later, saying things like, "I wasn't raised like that. I don't play about my mama," but the irony was heavy. He said, "I'm not raised like that," while literally telling another man to go dig up his deceased mother's grave, and that contradiction had people shaking their heads. He tried to stand on moral high ground while standing knee-deep in one of the lowest moves imaginable.
T.I.'s son then jumped in the mix. I ain't even mad at him for defending his mom. Now, do I think that this will go to some crazy level or some shit? No.
In hip-hop, there's a certain code, a street-level etiquette. And one of the biggest rules is that you don't disrespect somebody's dead parents. That's a line you just don't cross. Even people who understood King's anger admitted that what he did went too far. One YouTuber covering the whole situation said he got where King was coming from emotionally, but predicted there'd be some serious parental consequences once the cameras were off. He even said that T.I and Tiny would probably pull King aside and check him hard, because even if they understood his rage, posting a grave like that was something the Harris family could never publicly stand behind.
Tiny or T.I is definitely going to check him on that, because they not them type of people.
And the truth is, hip-hop has a long, messy history of family being dragged into beefs. This isn't the first time things got personal. Back in the 90s, Tupac told the whole world he slept with Biggie's wife, Faith Evans, on his diss track, Hit 'Em Up. Then later, Jay-Z fired shots at Nas by talking about an affair with Nas's child's mother, Carmen Bryan, on Super Ugly. That move was so out of pocket that even Jay's own mother called up Hot 97 live on air and made him apologize.
Well, first of all, when Super Ugly came out and we heard it, everybody was like, you corny.
So while King Harris's reaction shocked a new generation, this kind of personal blow-up has deep roots in rap history. But that doesn't make it any less wild to see unfold today. Carmen Bryant herself has spoken about how that whole situation with Jay-Z left real scars, not just on her, but on everyone involved. She revealed that Jay regretted releasing Super Ugly almost immediately after it hit the airwaves. It was one of those emotional heat-of-the-moment reactions, the kind where you're so caught up in anger that you swing too hard and end up hurting yourself just as bad. Going after someone's family for a quick win in a rap beef always sounds powerful in the moment, but the fallout lasts way longer than the applause.
Jay-Z's never been in any of our vehicles. So, you know, that was just him just grasping at things and just trying to, you know, make an instant comeback.
That's why the parallels with King Harris are impossible to ignore. When emotions run hot and you feel like your family's been disrespected, your first instinct is to go nuclear, fast and loud. But after that explosion, that's when the backlash and regret creep in, drowning out the anger that started it all. Jay-Z learned that lesson the hard way back in 2001. Whether King Harris will learn it in 2026 is still up in the air. While the internet was still losing its mind over King's gravesite post and his fiery video rants, T.I. made his next move, and he didn't waste any time. Within hours of his son's viral meltdown, T.I. hit the studio to handle things his way through music. Late on the night of February 22nd, rolling into the early hours of the 23rd, he recorded a brand new diss track.
T.I. then decided to go on his Instagram page and promote a new track. And this track somewhat sounds like he's dissing 50.
One he framed as an official declaration of war against 50 Cent, and here's the twist. The beat came from none other than DJ Tump, the legendary producer behind some of T.I.'s hardest tracks. We're talking the same man who gave the world bangers like What You Know and Bring 'Em Out. Their chemistry is legendary, and together they helped define an entire generation of Southern trap music. Now that same energy was back, only this time it was locked and loaded for 50 Cent. Everything about the new track had T.I.'s fingerprints all over it. The song carried that same dark, heavy energy he's known for, moody synths layered over thunderous bass and sharp, militant trap drums that hit like sonic punches. You could feel it instantly. This wasn't for show. T.I. was not playing around this time.
There's no direct names. It might just be a cut off his upcoming album.
He dropped a short preview straight to Instagram captioned, OUNI66 is Want War 8. We on that. Got a right one this time. Then he threw in the duck emoji, a slick, calculated callback to earlier moments when he called 50 Cent a duck, meaning someone who avoids confrontation and hides behind excuses. That single emoji said everything. The message was clear. This time, T.I. wasn't missing his shot. The teaser clip ran for about 30 to 60 seconds, showcasing T.I. spitting raw, confrontational bars with that gritty Atlanta cadence that's been his signature since the trap music era. Every word was dripping with attitude, defiant, focused, and ready for smoke. Even though the full lyrics hadn't been released yet, since it was just a preview, you could tell what he was on. The verses hinted at ongoing disrespect, his willingness to go to war, and his unbreakable loyalty to his family. He didn't have to say 50 Cent's name out loud. He didn't need to. The tone, the bars, and the captions made it crystal clear who the target was. Everyone who heard that snippet knew T.I. was loading up for lyrical battle, and the energy in that preview felt like the calm right before the explosion. As soon as T.I. dropped that fiery new track, the internet went wild with theories. Some people in the culture were convinced the song wasn't made overnight. They believed it had already been sitting in the vault waiting for the perfect storm. Maybe it was a track from his upcoming album that he strategically unleashed right when the headlines exploded. Others swore it had to be something brand new, a fresh out the booth creation, fueled by pure emotion after watching his son go off on Instagram. Either way, one thing was clear. The timing was way too on point to be random. Dropping a war-themed track just hours after your son posted a photo of a deceased woman's grave? There's no way that's coincidence. It looked like a calculated move, a way for T.I. to grab the wheel and steer the conversation away from the chaos and back toward the one place he's always commanded respect, the music. When that preview hit the internet, the hip-hop world instantly split in two. On one side, fans saluted T.I. for doing what true MCs are built to do, respond through their craft. In the world of rap, the diss track is sacred. It's not just a clapback, it's art mixed with emotion, pain, and pride, all turned into something that lives forever in the culture. Some even compare T.I.'s timing to the greatest diss moments ever. Pusha T's The Story of Adidon, Kendrick Lamar's Meet the Grams, and even earlier classics from legends who used the mic as their weapon of choice. But not everyone was applauding. A big chunk of the culture saw it differently. To them, it looked like T.I. was co-signing his son's wild behavior instead of shutting it down. Critics argued that instead of pulling King aside, talking him through the heat of the moment and setting the record straight, T.I. hit the booth and turned a serious family situation into a music event. That's when the debate got real. People started questioning what the proper balance is between artistic expression and family responsibility. Is it okay to turn pain and controversy into a song if it helps reclaim your image? Or should a father handle his household before hopping on a beat? In a digital world where every move gets caught, clipped, and reposted in seconds, the lines between real life and rap beef have never been blurrier. And now, everyone was watching to see whether T.I.'s response would calm the storm or make it blow up even bigger. Things got messy, no question about it. It looked like the entire Harris family had gone full throttle, running a complete two-front war. You had the son wilding out online, posting a gravesite photo while the father hit the studio, dropping bars straight from the battlefield. It was chaos from every angle, and the whole internet was locked in watching it unfold in real time. But even with all the noise, one thing just about everyone agreed on, no matter which side they were riding with, was how this whole mess actually started. The spark that lit the fire came straight from 50 Cent. He drew first blood the moment he posted that shady photo of Tiny Harris. Up until then, T.I. had kept everything about music. For weeks leading up to this, he talked Verzuz battles, hit records, and who had the stronger catalog. That was it. No sneak disses about 50's personal life, no talk about his family, no street jabs, none of that. T.I. stayed on topic, keeping it about artistry and legacy, while 50 flipped the script and made it personal. And that's the wild irony. A simple music debate turned into one of the ugliest family feuds hip-hop's seen in years. If you like this breakdown, tap one of the videos popping up on your screen right now to dive into more wild hip-hop moments just like this.